In the distance, you can see a famous park, which is known as Zaryadye Park. And well, this park, the name can be translated as behind the trading rows, because the area of the trade was in the olden times in Red Square, and the park got name of the locality which was behind or beyond the trading rows. It's a relatively modern park. We are going to take a look at it, and it was opened in 2017, and it's quite unique. Why is it unique? Because on the grounds of the park we have some structures, some buildings dating back to the 16th, 17th, 19th centuries, as well as totally new, very technological, modern, very modern constructions. So here now we are going to cross the street, and we'll take a look at the park, which is just in the vicinity of Red Square. The street, which is just ahead of us, so please take a look at it. It's quite unique. It's very, very old. It's one of the oldest streets in Moscow, and it's known as Barbara Street. Barbara Street. Well, it is named after the church, which you can see straight ahead, the church of pinkish color, known as Barbara Church. It was constructed in the 19th century, a church for the tradespeople, tradesmen. It was visited a lot by people who did the sales, and people came, they would pray in this church. And then a number of buildings in the distance behind this pink church are also very important from the point of view of architecture and history. So here I'm going to cross the street, and very soon I will already be in the park. Actually, I'm entering it. It's quite spacious. You will be able to see different trees. You will be able to see landscapes and various structures. So let me show you well, what we have here at from the side of Barbara Street. So the structures are really unique and impressive. Yeah? So you can get some stunning views. Straight ahead, the building of white color with a gray roof. That's the Old English Inn. Well, the first English ambassadors came to Russia in the 16th century, and when they came, they were put up in this white structure. So let me just make it a bit bigger. Yeah, so that's the white colored building, is known as the Old English Inn. And so it is a museum which is possible to visit. But while we are going to continue, I'm going to show you some more items, well, and structures which are located in Zaryadye Park. Okay, so here, so I'm back with you. So let's just enjoy the stroll. Beautiful summer day, bright, sunny, pleasantly warm, 26 degrees centigrade. Okay, so well, birch trees, silver birch trees, symbol of Russia. So such trees grow quite well in the cold climate with cold winter. So they tolerate the cold weather quite well. And we are continuing with you. So it's quite busy today. Well, even though today is Monday, still there are lots of guests of the city. What do we have? Yeah, we have different signs leading us in different directions, different structures. So on the grounds of the park, here we have a concert hall. There are several restaurants, and I would actually like to get to the so-called soaring or floating bridge. That's how we call it. It's the bridge from which it's possible to get nice views of the city center. And we are meanwhile continuing our walk. Look at this structure. So there are different kind of museums on the grounds of this park. This is like the media center, that's the name of the structure. There is also an ice cave. There is a place where you can try like high technological flight above Moscow. You can take a look at Moscow from the above, from the sky, using the technologies. So it's very distinct. And yeah, well, you can also find some shade here behind the trees if it's very hot. So it's quite pleasant to take a walk here and or to take a seat on the benches. Okay, so take a look, please. Some pine trees are here as well. And yeah, so we are not far from that bridge which I wanted to show you. What else can you see? Well, quite soon there will be different examples of architecture seen, and I will give you some commentary on that. Meanwhile, yeah, you can take a look at the beautiful green color. Well, definitely due to the climate, people try to enjoy it as much as possible. So when it is summer, when we have warm, sunny days, people try to be outside as much as possible. Well, restaurants and cafes, they usually have terraces outside, but well, only for this season, which is very, very short, I have to admit that, in central part of Russia. Yeah, so it's rather short. Well, here, take a look. You can see a building in the distance. It's a high-rise building which was constructed at the time of Stalin, late 1940s, early 1950s, and it is known as one of the 7 Stalin sisters, because in the city of Moscow there were 7 buildings constructed at the time of Stalin, and they all look more or less alike, so the architecture is rather similar. And out of 7, 2 are ministries, 2 are hotels, 2 are apartment blocks, and 1 is the building of university. So the building which you can see in your video is an apartment block, which is not far away from Red Square, so it has a very good central location. And meanwhile, now we are going to walk to the bridge. Yeah, so let's do that. And you'll get more views from the bridge. So it's also quite busy, but it's busy all the time because it's wonderful for taking great pictures, for enjoying the views.
Весь вечер в движении. Это все равно лучше, чем самолет, потому что самолетом
Okay, so now we are entering it, and in the distance you can see the river, you can see the bridge with cars across the river, you can see the walls of the Kremlin and a huge cathedral of Christ the Savior. So that's the view that you can get. So let us try to use the zoom. What can we get to enable you to enjoy the view more? Yeah, so take a look. Now I hope that you get nice views in your computer or mobile phone. Well, in the distance, the towers of the Kremlin you can see. So the towers of this fortress. Then the river with the ships. Look, so the river is the main river in our city, known as the Moscow River. And then further on you can see a huge church in the distance with the golden dome. Well, the name of that church is the Cathedral of Christ the Savior. So it's a very important church for Orthodox people. And now we are going to continue our walk with you. So the apartment block, which I mentioned earlier, known as one of 7 Stalin sisters, well, built by the order of Stalin. You can get a view of it. And so who would get apartments in such an apartment block with central location? Well, basically here people who contributed to the country and who worked in the field of arts, literature, culture. And now some more views. Well, you can also see some buildings which are across the river, the opposite bank of the river. Yeah, and here nice panoramic views of the center of the city. Oh, and the river, well, the navigation period starts usually at the end of April and finishes at the end of September, beginning of October, but we do have ships which use icebreakers, so therefore they use the Moscow River even in winter time for navigation, and it's really unusual to do that in winter in ice and with snow. So here you can get another view. That's the apartment block which I mentioned earlier. And also what I would like to show you from this spot, look, we have quite a unique church this white church with a gray roof, which dates back to the 16th century and which has been preserved on the grounds of this park. So it's the original church which they managed to keep well, in this part of the city. Yeah, that's it. So these are the views.